LA Knight brutally buried NXT stars rumored to join the Judgment Day. The Judgment Day involved in a backstage brawl following WWE Raw. Seth Rollins' rival rumored to cost him at SummerSlam. Baron Corbin joins forces with Bray Wyatt following return. Vince McMahon meddling in WWE script. Let's jump right into it. NXT stars rumored to join the Judgment Day. The Judgment Day has genuinely become a force to be reckoned with in WWE. All 4 members have come a long way since their debut, and their alliance enabled them to surpass monumental hurdles in their wrestling careers. Balor and Damian Priest went against Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams on NXT. This transpired after a nail-biting edition of Raw, which teased fans with their fate after brewing tensions between Senior Money in the Bank and the Prince. Here's a list of NXT stars who could be apt additions to the popular group. Number 4. Blair Davenport's vicious persona could prove to be an advantage for the Judgment Day. Blair Davenport signed with WWE in 2021 and most notably competed on NXT UK before its disbandment last year. She competed against Meiko Satomura and Mandy Rose in a triple threat match at Worlds Collide to unify the NXT and NXT UK Women's Championships. Despite being associated with WWE for a few years, Davenport has been wrestling for over a decade. She also competed in AEW from 2019 to 2020. In May this year, the 27-year-old was revealed to be a mysterious attacker in the hooded figure assaulting the women's division. Her bold persona could witness her as the 5th member of the Judgment Day. Additionally, her current portrayal of a heel in wrestling styles could dominate the pretense of a union with Rhea Ripley, Damian Priest, Finn Balor, and Dominic Mysterio. Number 3. Joe Gacy as a mediator for the Judgment Day. Many have often pointed out Joe Gacy's similarities to Bray Wyatt. Given the former Universal Champion's absence, Gacy could be crucial for the Judgment Day. His dark, mysterious gimmick led to the formation of Schism. The NXT star's creepy persona could lead to an unlikely alliance with the popular faction on Raw. The diversity of gimmicks could enable him to be the mediator while solidifying his status in the WWE roster. Joe Gacy's mind games and previous feuds could be crucial to the faction. Number 2. Rhea Ripley could find a female tag team partner in Gigi Dolan. Another female star could join Rhea Ripley to intensify the faction. Gigi Dolan is known for her signature all-black inspired wrestling gear and gothic fashion style, which would complement the Eradicator and the Raw faction. The duo could even contend for the women's tag team titles. Dolan's singles run following Toxic Attraction's breakup enabled him to still be a fan favorite. Her personality and gimmick would fit in seamlessly with Judgment Day. Gigi Dolan and JC Jane debuted on SmackDown last year in a contenders tournament for the women's tag team titles. She suffered an injury which resulted in her shifting back to NXT. In light of those events, a do-over with an alliance like the Judgment Day could intensify her main roster return. Number 1. Bron Breakker could be another powerful force in the group. Bron Breakker is currently a heel on NXT. The former champion was anticipated for a main roster push earlier this year. However, he remained on the developmental brand. Breakker has undergone a massive transformation since his initial run. He used to don colorful attire with a soothing expression. Recently, he has worn primarily black-themed outfits and a beard, making him look similar to the Judgment Day members. His addition to the menacing faction could enable him to garner a stronger foothold on the main roster, just like it did for Dominic Mysterio, despite skipping NXT in his WWE career. The young Mysterio has come a long way since his WWE debut. He even challenged Wes Lee for the NXT North American Championship, and the two are set to clash next week. The Judgment Day involved in a backstage brawl following WWE Raw. This week on WWE Raw, the Judgment Day had a better time compared to previous weeks. From Finn Balor and Damian Priest sorting their differences to the faction winning in the main event, Judgment Day looked like their old and dominant self. This naturally led to a lot of excitement from the WWE universe. However, per reports, an argument took place backstage after the match. The reported argument happened in guerrilla position, but there was never the threat of a physical confrontation breaking out. Further details were revealed by Mike Johnson of Pew Insider. Johnson reported that the argument took place because some spots did not go as planned. Due to this, there was a lot of blame going around, and one talent was blamed in particular, though the wrestler's name was withheld. In his report, Johnson wrote, "We are told the brunt of the issue was how the match went, as there were apparently some spots that didn't go as initially planned and were clunky, with two sources placing the blame on the fact that aspects of the match were changed at the last literal second, and one source placing the blame on one talent who they didn't want to name to not make the internet go insane." From what it seems, the reported argument backstage was born of frustration and a difference in opinion between the wrestlers. Since this incident took place, the Judgment Day appeared on NXT and were called out to a match by the NXT champion. As advertised, the Judgment Day made its appearance on this week's episode of NXT. Not only did the faction appear, but they also opened the show. During the segment, Finn Balor mentioned to the crowd how he was back home, considering his illustrious run with the former black and gold brand. While the segment continued to progress and Dominic Mysterio received heavy boos, Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams interrupted the proceedings. The NXT NXT champion claimed that while Balor belonged on NXT's Mount Rushmore, this was his building now. He went on to challenge the Judgment Day to a match later on the show. While earlier it was not clear if this match would be a six-man affair or a normal tag match, WWE later made it official that Hayes and Trick would face the team of Balor and Priest in the main event. This will be the second time Hayes will be facing the Judgment Day. Earlier, he competed against Finn Balor in his main roster debut on Raw. Despite losing that bout, the NXT champion gained recognition and appreciation. This time around, Hayes will surely look to register a victory over the Judgment Day. Finn Balor pays homage to AJ Styles. The Judgment Day made their return to NXT during this week's show, and Finn Balor referenced his former rival and ally AJ Styles in his promo. The group kicked off the show, and the former Universal Champion was the first one to speak. The first thing he said was, "NXT, Daddy's home," which got a reaction from the crowd. He went on to say that it's the house that he built, which is a reference to AJ Styles calling SmackDown the house that he built after his successful run on the Blue brand in 2016 and 2017. The Prince could have been paying homage to the Phenomenal One, or he was subtly taking a shot at the former WWE champion. The duo have a history with each other going all the way back to Japan, as they were both leaders of the Bullet Club. When Finn Balor asked AJ Styles to join the Judgment Day, the latter refused and reformed the OC with Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. They also added Mia Yim to the group. It'll be interesting to see whether Balor and Styles cross paths again, as they're currently on different brands. Do you think Finn Balor was paying homage to AJ Styles or taking a shot at him? Sound off in the comments section below. Seth Rollins' rival rumored to cost him at SummerSlam. Seth Rollins will likely walk into SummerSlam as the reigning and defending World Heavyweight Champion. The Visionary is busy dealing with the Judgment Day on Raw, but he needs to focus his attention on another threat that might be lurking around the corner. It is possible Seth Rollins could lose his World Heavyweight Championship at SummerSlam due to interference from Braun Breaker. The two are definitely no strangers to each other, having squared off for the title several weeks ago on WWE NXT. Breaker had challenged the Visionary to put his title on the line at NXT Gold Rush. Rollins accepted the challenge and put on an incredible title defense against the 25-year-old star in the main event of NXT on June 20, 2023. The Drip God was assaulted by Finn Balor after his win, but Carmella Hayes and Trick Williams arrived in time to make the save. This led to a match between Melo and Balor the following week on Raw, which the NXT champion lost. Melo also suffered another upset at the hands of the Prince in the tag team main event on NXT this week. Balor picked up the win after hitting his opponent with a coup de grace. The events of NXT this week showed that the Judgment Day is strong going into SummerSlam. WWE dropped a major tease for a potential split this past Monday on Raw, but that now seems to be in the past. It is worth mentioning that the entire group has their eyes on Seth Rollins and his world title. The Visionary has so far managed to avoid a terrible beating at the hands of the Judgment Day. He might once again put his title on the line against Balor, this time at SummerSlam. Damian Priest is also in contention for the title because he has the Money in the Bank briefcase. One thing's for sure, the fate of the world title hangs in the balance. Fans will have to wait till Raw next week to find out what's next. What's your take on this story? Let us know in the comments section below. Baron Corbin joins forces with Bray Wyatt following return. Bray Wyatt hasn't been seen on WWE television in months. Fans don't know what's happening with him. Having said that, Wyatt is still a major attraction, and his name will continue to pop up for years. Fans can't help but pitch all sorts of fantasy scenarios for the former WWE champion following a potential return. One such idea involves pairing Bray with a fellow WWE star. The star in question is none other than Baron Corbin. The 38-year-old star recently reverted to his lone wolf gimmick following a successful return to NXT. He could form a surprise alliance with Bray Wyatt following a potential return. The two could even create a new version of the Wyatt family, though the possibility is very low at the moment. A potential alliance between Wyatt and Corbin could see them take on Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn for the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship. The duo could even feud with other face tag teams, including Legado del Fantasma on SmackDown. Corbin was moved back to NXT after an underwhelming pairing with JBL on Monday Night Raw. The former Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal winner immediately inserted himself into a title program with Carmelo Hayes on the white and gold brand. He unsuccessfully challenged Melo's title at NXT Gold Rush Week 2. WWE has since been airing pre-tape promos hyping up Corbin's current run in NXT. The Lone Wolf reflected on his past in a vignette aired on the July 11, 2023 episode of NXT. Corbin apparently teased a new gimmick. It remains to be seen if Corbin will discover himself on NXT. Triple H could always book him in some alliance with stars, including Bray Wyatt. The Eater of Worlds was supposed to enter into a program with Bobby Lashley at WrestleMania 39, but an undisclosed illness forced WWE to drop the feud altogether. The Undertaker is one of WWE's most revered figures. The former Deadman has taken the role of a mentor to superstars like Omos. Taker is also a big fan of Bray Wyatt and wants WWE to book him like they did during his Wyatt family run. In a recent interview with Metro, The Undertaker addressed Bray Wyatt's recent booking in WWE. The WWE Hall of Famer urged the powers to book Bray to the best of his potential. He also also praised Wyatt for his mic skill. "I got to work with Bray at Mania the year after I got concussed in the Brock match. I worked with Bray. I think a lot of him, and I like what he's doing. I think they just have to figure out how to. They need to back it up to his original character, I think," he said. It remains to be seen how WWE will book Bray following a potential return. Vince McMahon meddling in WWE scripts. Fans have debated the biggest mistake Triple H has made since he was put in charge of WWE creative. After Vince McMahon shockingly retired last year, Triple H was named the head of creative. With his new position, he was responsible for all the storylines on Raw and SmackDown. The game's immediate impact was felt with all the changes he made across the company. Several WWE superstars who were once fired, like Karrion Kross, Braun Strowman, and Bray Wyatt, all found themselves back in the company. The storylines produced each week were also different, with the Bloodline storyline being one of the best in recent memory. While there have many positives regarding the game taking over creative control, there have also been some mistakes that he has made along the way. Many fans have taken to Twitter to debate Hunter's biggest mistakes since taking over WWE creative with Public Enemies, recalling Austin Theory's failed Money in the Bank cash-in on the US title as one of his biggest mistakes. One fan hinted that Hunter should have done a better job in booking the women's division. Another fan pointed out that he has nothing with the rehired talent. The broken Matt Hardy gimmick was one of the hottest ones when he signed with the WWE. However, he wasn't initially allowed to use his gimmick on television until later in his run. Hardy eventually left the company in 2020 to join AEW. During a recent interview with the Daily Mail, Matt Hardy recalled how Triple H offered him the chance to explore his broken Matt gimmick in NXT. So that opportunity opened up at AEW to be able to do it, and also Triple H gave me a very generous offer to wrestle in NXT and do some of my broken Matt. Maybe give me a little bit of a stable, and then still be able to supplement that by being a backstage producer with WWE. Hardy continued, "If it would have been the era where Triple H was in charge, I could have ended up saying then maybe. But it was the right call for me to leave and step out to AEW. The game is getting a lot of things right with his new position, and it will be interesting to see how this will benefit the company in the long run." What do you think of Hunter in charge of WWE Creative? Sound off in the comments section below. LA Knight brutally buried. Former $1 million champion LA Knight has been the talk of the town since he was considered the top guy to win the 2023 Money in the Bank. Wrestling legend Conan believes in the 40-year-old star's potential and called him the hottest guy despite his recent criticism and failure to win the coveted MITB briefcase. However, in recent events, WWE Hall of Famer Kevin Nash called out LA Knight. He referred to former $1 million champion's style as a cheap rip-off imitation of WWE legends Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock. While speaking on the recent Keepin' It 100 podcast, Conan said Knight's version in Impact Wrestling did not sit well with him. However, the 40-year-old star has developed himself in the Stanford-based company. The wrestling veteran also defended and shunted Kevin Nash's accusation by stating that the former Maximum Male model manager is inspired by the Attitude Era legends rather than copying them. He went on to call Knight the hottest guy in the company. "The first time I saw him in Impact, I said, this guy is kind of a ripoff of The Rock. That is the first thing that I thought when I saw him. But then I kept seeing him. The Rock never said, yeah, or dummy. He's inspired by The Rock, who hasn't been in wrestling on a consistent basis for 25 years. What's the big deal? I see nothing wrong with what he's doing," Conan said. According to the latest reports, the SmackDown superstar could gain massive momentum ahead of his WWE career. Not only did he receive a massive pop in the O2 Arena London, but he also blew the roof off last month by being in the top 5 of WWE merchandise sales. As per BWE, wrestling fans could soon witness LA Knight becoming a babyface moniker. Let's hope the 40-year-old turning to the bright side does not hamper his momentum among the fan. During the MITB post-show press conference, even Chief Content Officer Triple H shared that Knight is a brilliant superstar with mic and wrestling skills, but good things take time, which also hinted at a babyface turn of the superstar. Do you want to see LA Knight turn babyface? Sound off in the comments section below.
I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon. I got eyes in the back of my head, I'm seeing. Take me